Well, he's a really interesting character, and particularly at that point in '79, because he is somebody who, you know, he's suggesting what the solution to the problem of Mrs. Ramsay Mackay's dreadful debts and selling off the estate and the house, and what could be done with at the expense of the cherry orchard, but building these. What's the wonderful phrase you use? It's kind of urban living.
City living in the heart of the Highlands. But that's par for the course. That's what you get in all these brochures and everything.
Yeah.
You originally had the Saatchi brothers doing this brochure. You get the Saatchi boys to do a prospectus, or not a brochure. There's a lot of stuff that we had to trim.
Why?
For time.
Oh, right, I thought you meant for libel.
Oh, no. No, I would never trim anything for libel. No, I just keep it in there. No, just for time, running time.
But it really, I think that's where the setting is just so powerful and so resonant, because you see this character, you know, grabbing at opportunities, creating opportunities, in a sense, really offering a lifeline to this beleaguered aristocrat too.
You have to admire him. I mean, I have a certain admiration for Malky McCracken. Yeah, he's a real doer. I don't necessarily agree with all these politics, but you have to admire him. Doesn't rely on anybody else. He's a go-getter.
Well, and he's particularly thrown into sharp relief by the fact that the people he's dealing with are doing nothing.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Now, what do you think is at the heart of that? Is that just, I mean, we can say that, gosh, I mean, you can get all existential and say, you know, we're all powerless in the face of life and death and all the rest of it. But do you see that as being particularly this beleaguered class, sort of almost paralysed with fear?
Aye. I mean, I don't have much truck with that class, but yeah, these particular characters are he calls them feckless, dilatory and feckless individuals. They are paralysed. They'll do nothing. They don't know how to do anything. I mean, Guy's a public school boy, ex-public school boy, and Ramsay Mackay has never worked in her life. You know, so it's a bad start.
And yet there are, as I said, Chekhov's wife allegedly, you know, broke down in tears, and there are extraordinarily sad moments when you think about the childhood that these people had.
Absolutely.
And what the cherry orchard means to them.
That's the power of Chekhov. It makes you feel sorry for the people who lose their house. I feel sorry for them. I mean, in the play you feel sorry for them as well. In this production you feel sorry for them. You can't help yourself. And that's Chekhov's influence. So they're not set up as sitting ducks who are feckless, and we should be entertained by the fact that they lose their house. You can't help but feel enormous sadness about that.
Once you've relocated the cherry orchard to this grand house, and we're sitting in a part of the set right now on stage at the Lyceum, the opportunities open up, don't they, for you as a writer and for the director and the set designer, just even in terms of them having this wonderful kind of ceilidh. So you hear the Scottish country dance music and all of that, and everything, you know, whether we've been in a grand house or not, just that whole sense of how things can get out of control in a night like that. Yeah.
Well, the thing is about the toffs who, and none of us knew how to do any country dance, Scottish country dance. All the toffs were taught at their public schools in England.
Oh, we learned at school. We learned at primary.
I know you learned at school. Well, Paisley was different, you see. We didn't learn anything. Paisley. I don't know anybody of my generation who comes from the Central Belt who knows how to do Scottish country dancing.
Right, was that something they introduced?
To say we couldn't swim, none of us could swim or do Scottish country dancing. We were feckless and dilatory individuals.
Can you country dance now?
No.
Come on.
No,
you must do a Dashing White Sergeant or
I could do that, a bit of that, but it's not in the blood, you see. No.
But you relished the opportunity to introduce that to this
adaptation. That was Tony Cowney who introduced it. Mrs. Ramsay Mackay, they hear an accordion in the distance when they're out in the scene 2, and it's old Duncan, what's his name? I can't even remember any names, you see. And his band who come to play. So we must have a reeling party. And that's how it turns out. Yeah, it's rather good.
You've got a fantastic cast, bringing your words to life. I mean, just Maureen Beattie, Andy Clark, Matthew Pidgeon, Ralph Reich. who brings the house down quite a few times. Myra McFadden, to name but a few. And it's just, I think I've spoken to you about this before, but again, it's just the fact that you're a painter and an artist and a writer, and then one imagines fairly solitary professions and activities, and then this intensely collaborative medium
it's very,
of
very
theatre.
Collaborative, absolutely.
Does it fit well with you, or is that a side of it that you think, oh no, I want to go back and be on my own?
Part of my character. No, I don't want to see when I'm doing it in rehearsals and everything. I don't want to be on my own. No, I'm very happy to be in the thick of things. I would never ever be away from. Can you understand writers who don't go to rehearsals? And then you come and say, oh, you got it all wrong. You know, I think you had your chance, pal.
What kind of presence are you then in the rehearsal room? Are you at the back taking notes, intimidating
them,
or are you frightening?
No, I'm not frightening at all. No.
Are you? No?
I can be if the occasion demands it. No, I never demand it at all. I mean, people are very civil.
But you like, I believe that, well, why wouldn't you? But you like people to get your words right.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've spent hours upon hours in freezing rooms for years doing stuff. And then, you want to get, and I've gone through every choice of word or phrase, or I've gone through them all, every last one of them, you know. So nobody's going to come up just on the first day of rehearsal and say, I'll say, no, you won't. No. Nobody does that now. My reputation precedes me.
Well, I was very nervous backstage just before we came out, because I was saying to John that I was in a production years ago, a student production of Cutting a Rug, playing Miss Walkinshaw, because clearly I'm a spitting image of a 70-year-old repressed woman with glasses and a bun. Anyway, they didn't laugh. That's very worrying. It's very worrying. But I was quoting a line that I could remember. I thought, oh my goodness, did I say it right? But you were on it. You were like, yes, you did.
No, you did say it
right
exactly
adjective.
right. You could almost smell the ozone coming up from Largs.
Yeah. I was so worried I would have said it. My goodness me.
No, it's a judicious word.
Yeah. But do you, we talked about the process leading up to the production. When you're sitting in those rehearsals, is it still fluid for you then? Might you? No,
it's been trimmed, cut, doing all the rest of it while we're in rehearsal, because that's the time to do it. Yeah. Very often I write things which are done, either my own stuff is done, because I've done all the cut in my head, but with this, no, I was very happy to do that. Yeah. I mean, it's not set in stone until it's set in stone, if somebody goes off a different way from what you imagine, and they've got a shorter distance to travel, there's all that kind of stuff. They're all practical things govern the text as well as different ideas. And as well as those practical aspects, John, is there still a thrill for you after you doing it for a number of years of seeing really good actors really bring it to life? Absolutely. And bring their own thing to it in a good way? Of course they do, because they embody the character that you've, and if they embody it 70% of what you've imagined, that's just miraculous. And then they bring their own stuff to it as well. And of course, there's then the next step when it is performed for a packed house somewhere like the Lyceum. Wonderful. So on Saturday night, you were sitting up there in the front row of the circle. What is that like for you then? Because that's a whole different atmosphere. I suppose timing comes into play because the audience are laughing. Yeah, it's too late to do anything more to it. So you're off the hook by that time in a good way. Yeah, and also, is it really? It's very nerve-wracking in another way. But it's particularly nerve-wracking if it's your own original thing that's having a premiere. I mean, we know that the Cherry Orchard works. It's been done so many times. You know it works. And if it doesn't work, you can blame Chekhov. Chekhov, no. If you like. Oh, yeah, you'd have to blame me in this instance. But it's always a thrill. But it's an even bigger thrill if it's something original that's never been seen before.